While you will always find the most up-to-date information on our website at daviestech.org, we hope that these videos will inform you of the major changes to our policies.
I'm Dr. Nicole Lyons, Supervisor of Academic Curriculum and Instruction, and I am here to take you through the Davies Instructional Reopening Plan. And we want you to understand our instructional reopening plan in order to know exactly what to expect when we return to school. Before we get into the instructional reopening plan, we just want to thank our students, our parents, and our teachers for the feedback that you provided us that helped guide the work to build our instructional plan. So not only did the feedback you provided guide our work, but we used 5 core values that helped guide our work as we developed our plan. 1, safety. 2, transparency. 3, equity, to center our decisions on what is best for all of our students, our families, and our educators. 4 is listening to all of our stakeholders. And 5, making decisions. So as a result of this presentation, there are a few things we'd like you to know, understand, and be able to do. So let's review the goals. First, we'd like you to know the 4 components of our instructional plan: the schedule, the learning and assessment plan, the grading policy, and student supports. We'd like you to understand the adjustments made to the schedule, how classroom instruction will take place and what to expect, and finally, the changes within each of these 4 components. Finally, we'd like you to be able to do a couple of things after you hear this presentation. 1, we'd like you to know when you will be in-person learning and learning remotely. 2, we'd like you to participate in the Davies Get Ready course program found on our website to prepare for when we return to school. 3rd, we'd like you to know what you will need to be ready for in your academic and your CTE classes. And finally, we want you to know how you can make appointments and who to contact when you need help or support at any time throughout this school year. Here are the 4 components we're going to review. 1, the schedule. 2, the plan for learning. 3, our grading policy. And 4, student supports. This year, Davies will be utilizing 3 different learning models throughout the school year. We want you to know what to expect in each model, as the 3 models will be referred to throughout the school year by your teachers and staff. First, traditional in-person learning is what students and teachers are used to. This is when students report to school and work in person with the teacher. The second model is known as asynchronous learning. Asynchronous learning is when the teacher provides organized activities to students that involves facilitated instruction that students can complete on their own. Asynchronous learning means that students are following directions on learning platforms and working independently. On asynchronous learning days, students will be expected to know how to access the work for each class and complete the activities on their own. Finally, the third model is synchronous learning. Synchronous learning is when the students receive a face-to-face instruction from their teacher via Zoom. During synchronous learning, students are expected to log into Zoom and participate in class. Synchronous learning is what students participated in over the spring during remote learning. These 3 learning models will be referenced throughout the scheduling information, and we will inform students when they will need to engage in each of these different learning models. First, let's review our schedule. Each school was asked by the Department of Education to submit 4 different school schedules that focused on the following: health and safety, best instructional practices, student supports, and remote learning practices. Davies has created 4 different schedules to ensure students can learn in the building as much as possible while following safety protocols and ensuring those vulnerable populations are being supported. Our goal is that full in-person learning will take place as much as it can. However, we are ready to handle the varying scenarios. So let's take a look at the different scenarios and what they entail. So first, we'll start here with full in-person learning. This full in-person learning is our goal. And full in-person learning means that 100% of in-person operations with social distancing protocols are in place based on the current health guidelines. And this means that all students in all grade levels report to school 4 days a week. Yes, you heard me correctly, 4 days a week. One full in-person schedule means everybody comes to school Tuesday through Friday, leaving Monday as a virtual learning day where students are learning remotely from home. We kept this 1 day virtual to ensure that our students and staff continue to practice remote learning, because at any time we could need to utilize remote learning more than we expected. Also, students or staff may need to be quarantined at any time during the school year, and having this 1 day a week to practice the remote learning will help those students feel and be included in their learning. So our full in-person plan allows for students to learn in person as much as possible 4 days a week. Let's move on to our next schedule, partial in-person. Partial in-person means that 50% of the school is learning in person, while the other 50% is learning remotely on Mondays, and then alternate the rest of the week.
Davies will be starting the school year under the partial in-person or 50% scenario. When Davies operates under the partial in-person scenario, this means that 50% of the student population can be in the building at one time. Let's take a look at what this means for you and your child the first few weeks of school. The first week of school is an A week. Students will follow their A week schedule. Seniors, if you have F week academics, you will be beginning classes the following week. The first day of school is September 14th. On Monday, September 14th, 9th graders only, with the last names beginning with A through J, will report to Davies. All other students will enjoy an extra day of summer vacation. On Tuesday, September 15th, 9th graders only, with the last names beginning with K through Z, will report to Davies. All other students, again, will enjoy an extra day of summer vacation. On Wednesday, September 16th, all grades, 9th through 12th, with last names beginning with A through J, will report to Davies. All other students, again, will enjoy an extra day of summer vacation. On Thursday, September 7th, all grades 9th through 12th with last names beginning with K through Z will report to Davies. Again, all other students will enjoy an extra day of summer vacation. Friday, September 18th, all students will be home participating in synchronous online learning. Students will be asked to follow their course schedule and participate in class via Zoom with their teachers, just like they did last spring. For example, my last name begins with L. I would look at the schedule below and see that as a new 9th grader, I would report to Davies on Tuesday, September 15th, and Thursday, September 17th. I would note that only 9th graders like me will be in the building on September 15th, and I will be with other grades with the last names K through Z on September 17th. I would also note that I will be following my school schedule and participating in remote learning on Friday, September 18th. During the first week of school, your teachers will review where to go to access your online work, how to navigate certain platforms, and you will get to practice asynchronous online learning, so you feel comfortable operating your online learning platforms independently. Please take a look at the chart below to understand the first week of school schedule. The second week of school will begin our normal 50% scenario schedule. On Mondays, all students will be home participating in synchronous online learning. Students will be asked to follow their course schedule and participate in class via Zoom with their teachers, just like they did last spring. Please note that Monday, September 21st, is a professional development day for teachers, and students will be participating in asynchronous learning on this Monday. Davies will be reevaluating the public health data to determine a potential change to our operating scenario on October 13th. Communication regarding any changes will be forthcoming after October 13th. If your last name begins with A through J, you will report to Davies for traditional in-person learning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesdays and Fridays, you will participate in asynchronous online learning from home. Again, asynchronous learning means you will learn independently online. Your teachers will provide you with work that you need to complete for that day online. If your last name begins with K through Z, you will report to Davies for traditional in-person learning on Wednesdays and Fridays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, you will participate in asynchronous online learning from home. In all, students will report to school twice per week and will learn from home 3 times per week. Please review the 50% scenario schedule for last names A through J and K through Z in the chart below. For example, if I were to read this chart, my last name begins with L. I would look at the second row where it says student last name K through Z. I would know that on Mondays, I would be home doing synchronous learning with my teachers. I would also know that the days that are in white, I would be asynchronous learning from home, and I would be responsible for doing independent learning. The days that are highlighted in blue, Wednesday and Friday, I know that I would have to report to Davies for traditional in-person instruction. Please note, students do not have any school on Monday, September 28th and Monday, October 12th, due to holidays. This means students have the day off. We understand that remote learning affects each student differently. Some students thrive learning remotely, some students struggled, and some students maintained the status quo. We also know that our teachers needed to make great adjustments to their curriculum and instruction to ensure students were still learning. With this said, we know we need to accelerate student learning this year. We know many students are anxious about their first day of school and feeling ready to learn. In order to prepare students for their academic and CTE courses, Davies has implemented student Get Ready courses. Messaging went out on July 30th regarding the Get Ready courses. The Get Ready courses are designed through Khan Academy to help students preview what course content is to come in each of their classes. There are also refresher courses for students who simply want to master skills like writing and arithmetic. We highly encourage each and every student to practice as many Get Ready courses as they can. While students are practicing getting ready for the school year, teachers are also preparing for the school year. In order to get teachers prepared for the school year, we front-loaded the school year with 7 professional development days to give students time to prepare for instructional adjustments and their classroom space. During the first 4 weeks of school, students can expect the following. Students can expect to participate in building culture and to get to know you activities, take paper-based and online diagnostic assessments, review material they learned from the previous school year, and establish norms and routines for each class. On October 19th, teachers will have a professional development day where they will use the data collected from the assessments to establish an action plan based on what students know. Teachers will then adjust curriculum and instruction accordingly in order to accelerate student learning. Teachers will then reassess their action plans on November 16th. Teachers will continue to use a portion of all professional development days to reassess their action plans based on evidence of student learning.
So now that we've reviewed how the schedule, how students are going to learn, let's talk about our grading policy. So Davies does not want remote learning to negatively affect student learning and growth. So based on data from the spring, from teacher and student feedback, and in-depth grading analysis, Davies has made adjustments to their CTE and their academic grading policies to benefit students, both in person and remotely. Research on remote learning highlights that clear communication and continuous feedback are the two key factors that contribute to student performance at grade level and meeting their learning goals. So with that said, rather than grades be an act of compliance, did the student complete the work? Yes or no, they get a 100 or a 0. We made adjustments to our grading policy that would allow students to receive feedback from their teachers in order to improve their progress on meeting the most non-negotiable skills possible in their course. Both the CTE and academic grading policies weight assessments more heavily because the assessments are what measure the students' learning and understanding of the standards and skills that they need to be most successful in the course. So giving more interim assessments will allow teachers to provide students clear feedback on what they need to know and still need to understand more deeply in order to meet their learning goals for the school year. So please take a minute and review our new school grading policies. So with changes in grading policy comes changes with our late work policy. When a student has an excused absence and Davies is operating under our full, partial, or limited status, students have up to 5 days to make up missing assignments. So when we're in remote learning, students will have 10 days. This change has been made to recognize that schoolwork takes up to double the amount of time to complete when a student is at home. Also, Davies has a new category of assignment called in-class assignments. These assignments, students must be present in class in order to complete. We found that some assignments, such as conversations in class, dialogues, presentations, timed assignments, could not be replaced outside of the class that they were given. So these assignments cannot be made up. However, a student can work with their teacher in order to catch them up on what they've missed if they have an excused absence and there was an in-class assignment that was given. Further, since assessments are weighted more this year, if a student fails an assessment, which means they would earn lower than a 70, the student will be allowed one opportunity to retake their assessment and earn up to a 70. The student will have up to 5 class days to initiate this process. First, the student would receive feedback on their assessment from their teacher. the student would need to review the feedback and ask their teacher within 5 days to retake their assessment. The student would have to initiate this process, and also the student would have to prepare for their assessment. Finally, if we're in remote learning during final exams, students can hand in work up until the second to last day of the school year. Otherwise, our policy remains the same in all of our other schedules in full, partial, or limited. If we're in full, partial, or limited, students have up until the last academic day of the fourth quarter to hand in late work. What does that mean? All it means is students have up until the day before the final exams start to hand in late work. Okay, so you may be thinking, this is a lot of information. Now you may be wondering, how are you going to accomplish meeting your academic needs and accessing supports when you need them, given the uncertainty of the school year? So let's dig a little bit more deeply into student supports and how Davies plans to support each student. Davies has created a tiered system to help support students at all levels. Every student at Davies has access to these supports. We recognize again that remote learning affected each student differently, and we want to meet each student's needs to ensure that they're successful this coming school year. All students will have access to social emotional supports and academic supports. When students need to talk with someone or have questions, students will need to make appointments with adults in the building. Students should make an appointment with their guidance counselor when they have questions or feel that they need to reach out for some support. They are also welcome to email and make appointments with myself, Mrs. Lyons, Mrs. Votto, Mrs. Freitas, or Mr. Champagne at any time. Also this year, students can sign up for tutoring. And students can sign up for tutoring if they need extra help, or they feel that they just need some support and help with organization in a certain subject. When Davies staff identifies a student who is struggling, Davies has programs that are more targeted to provide more intensive supports for students. So these include programs like Check and Connect, where students are assigned to an adult to check in with, so the teacher can help advocate and support the student's needs. And finally, with going over the supports that we have at Davies, I really would like all the students out there to take 1 minute and think about one adult at Davies that you feel comfortable going to for help. This can be an adult that you go to for help, to ask a question, or to share when you're having difficulty with something. If you cannot think of one adult, you have access to us as administrators, your advisory teachers, and your guidance counselors. We want you here at Davies to feel supported, no matter what level of support that you may need. And we want to ensure that you can be successful here at Davies. So now that we've gone over the schedules, the plan for learning, and student supports, you may be wondering, what are classes going to look like? So we want to go over what you can expect in your classes. So there are 5 things that you should be aware of that are going to be different in your classrooms this year. 1 is mask wearing. You are going to need to wear a mask in your classrooms. 2 is distancing. You're going to notice that desks will be further apart. Desks have to be facing the same direction. And when you're in your classroom, you're normally used to moving desks around and being grouped and facing different ways and being close to other students and your teacher. This year, you're going to notice that there's going to be more distance and that you won't be interacting physically with students, and teachers are going to do the best they can to ensure that everybody is spaced 6 feet apart. Because we won't have the ability to move around the room and engage in many partner conversations and group work, you will be engaging in more digital tools using your Chromebook, which means you'll be engaging with your peers digitally. So this means it's more important than ever to have your Chromebook charged and your charger with you at all times. The next thing you should be aware of is targeted assessments. You're going to notice, as I highlighted in our learning plan, the first 3 weeks of school, you're going to be getting a lot of assessments, small assessments, big assessments. You're going to be asked to do a lot of work because we really need to understand where you're at and how we accelerate your learning for the year. So we want to make sure that we are meeting you where you are, and we want to make sure that you are learning at grade level. Finally, the last component that you should be aware of in your classrooms is sharing of materials and cleaning. Before you enter your classrooms, your teachers are going to be cleaning their rooms. Any shared spaces between classes, they are cleaning. So before you enter your class, you might be asked to wait in the hallway for a few minutes. And when you enter the room, you want to ensure that you respect the environment that your teacher is trying tirelessly to be clean and safe for you. You will notice this year that teachers will not be sharing materials unless they can ensure they're cleaning the materials in between classes. So we highly encourage you to have a stockpile of pencils, pens, preferably your own calculator, so you can use these materials in class and be successful. We also want to remind you, when you can, as often as you can, please wash your hands and use hand sanitizer to keep yourself and others safe. For more information on mask wearing, social distancing, and hand washing, please refer to our other reopening videos. So now that you have all this information, you're probably wondering, what can you be doing right now to prepare for classes when we return? First, you can visit our Davies website and participate in our Get Ready courses. We highly encourage every Davies student to participate in these courses to better prepare themselves academically for their academic and their CTE classes. Second, we want you to read and understand when your grade level will be in the building and or learning remotely on any given day in any of our 4 schedules. And you can find our schedule posted on our website. Third, we want you to be checking your emails for updates on the start of school and for any materials. Finally, if you need help or have any questions on our reopening plan, please email us at community@daviestech.org. Thank you. For up-to-date information on Davies, please visit us at daviestech.org. Also, subscribe to the Davies YouTube channel for more awesome videos like these.